everyone. It's another time for you to join us on Women Winning with Money. And today we are going to be looking at budgets, how to budget, what should be in your budget, and so many things that will help you. We hear that word budget a lot, and I'm sure some of us feel that it is something that is difficult or out of place or is not even possible. We are here to break it down for you today. Budget is that spending plan that tells you what you earn and how you spend. But I have a definition for budget, and I say it is telling your money where to go rather than wondering where it went to. A lot of times people have a lot of money and they'll just look around and say, what happened? How did I spend this money? It's simply because you did not take time to budget or tell that money where it should go to. Now, people plan their time. Sometimes they even say, oh, I want to go on vacation. They plan their vacation. But how many of you plan your money? Which is very, very crucial and important because it's actually the basis for which we spend and do everything that we need to do for even our goals that we need to achieve. So we're saying that when you earn money or when you work and you do anything and money gets into your hand, how do you spend that money? How do you utilize that money? You should be able to tell it where it should go to so that at the end of maybe a week or a month or whenever you're taking your review, you'll be able to say, okay, this is what I used my money for. It requires a lot of discipline. It requires that you take time to write down how exactly you want your money spent so that you don't get to a point where you begin to wonder and say, oh, I made so much money this year. I made so much money this month. Where is it? It requires that discipline for you to sit down and actually document how you will spend your money. And that is budgeting. Very simple. Telling your money where to go to rather than wondering where it went to. And how do you budget? It's important that you know all that you earn, your sources of income. Also, how do you spend? What is your expenses? It could be monthly, it could be weekly, depending on how you do things. You should have an idea of how you what your expenses are, what your income is in total. Those are the things that will help you in budgeting. And of course, we're going to be looking at the things that should be in your budget too. And of course, there are different ways to budget. You can budget all of the money, but I'm sure you're going to get explicit explanation on all of this. But I tell you, it is very, very important to budget. Thank you.
So what should go into your budget? First, your income after tax. Once you know what you make, your side hustles, if you work 9 to 5, what comes in, even if you work 9 to 5 and you have side hustles, you have business, you will have to calculate your income. What comes into your pocket or your account? What do you make that month or that week? And then your expenses. And for expenses, we have variable expenses, we have fixed expenses. Fixed expenses like rent, like you are sure you're going to pay school fees, and then if you're in debt and you need to repay your debt, is also part of what will be in your fixed expenses. And then the variable expenses like groceries, you want to go out with friends, you want to buy that new designer clothes and all of that. That's depending on your goals and your plan. All right. Okay. You also need to budget your savings. Make sure that your income is more than your expenses. Once your income is more than your expenses, you'll be able to save. And then you'll be able to save for emergencies, save for a project if you have any, save for the future, save for retirement, and all of that. Those are the things that should go into your budget. Also, do you have a goal? What are your goals? What are you planning to do in the next 1 year? What are you planning to achieve in the next 2 years? All of these things will inform what will go into your budget. Because as you plan ahead, you plan to spend as you plan to earn. And there's something I always say. A lot of people will say, I can't budget because I don't even earn as much as I spend. Like I spend more than I earn. You need to think about it. Why should you be spending more than you earn? So your budget will help you know what exactly do you spend. So if you are just starting out, the first month, spend everything that you spend, and of course, you know your income, and then try to see what's the difference between what you earn and what you spend. Once you know this, it will help you when budgeting the next month. And as you budget the next month, you reduce your expenses. There are ways you can do that. or increase your income. So what should go into your budget? First, your income, then your expenses. Remember, you have variable expenses and fixed expenses, and then your savings, emergency savings, retirement savings, and all of that. And I'm going to hand over to Jcax to
Thank
talk
you
more
very
about it.
much. Well, I want to address particularly budgeting for entrepreneurs because many people do not earn a salary. Many people do not have regular income, and so their money comes in sporadic bursts. There are people who are into event planning, for example, and then when there is a fast out there, then they have a period where there are no events, nobody's doing anything because the Muslims and the Christians fast at about the same time these days. And so there's a drought. So that means that around December, people are coming for debt in December, having events, and then you have a lot of money. And then there are other times when you don't have so much money. How then does a budget work for you if we say it's a spending plan now with which you tell your money where you want to go, and then there's a month when there's money and there's a month when there's no money? Well, a good way to tackle this is to understand the seasons of your business or understand the seasons of your income. I know students who get their money when they are going to school and they get it for the semester, for example, or for the term. Those kind of students also would be termed as having seasonal income because whatever money they make is supposed to last for a total of about 3 months. So, what do you do when you have sporadic income? The most important thing for you to realize as someone whose income is not steady is that you must be in control of your wants and needs. You must have a sharp understanding of what is a desirable thing to spend money on and what is something you must spend money on. For me, the most important thing you must spend money on is what will keep money coming to you. So if you need to have data to be able to call home and say you need money, talking to students now, you need to make sure that whatever happens, your budget for data is secure. For somebody who is a salary earner, your budget for going to work must be secure. For someone who's an entrepreneur, your budget for your overhead for running your business must be secure. So even when there's good times of business, bad times of business, you must make sure that every time you get bulk income, you cover your expenses for the period that is likely to be a drought period. Of course, Women Winning with Money will bring you a session on emergency savings. When we do that, you would understand how many months rather you need to cover with your emergency savings so that no matter what happens, you stay alive and you stay able to earn. So the biggest tip here is understand, separate your needs from your wants, and every time there's some big money, make sure you keep enough to keep you running. You keep enough to cover your ability to earn more money until the next big money comes. I hope that tip is a valuable one for you. So, Funke,
Thank you, Jcax. Okay, so after all these have been said, a budget won't work if you're not disciplined. You have to be very disciplined because when you put the money aside, it's not going to work itself. For your budget to work, you have to be disciplined and stick to whatever you have decided to do. So, the number one thing is to track your income. How much do I earn? Like my friend said, you should understand, okay, I earn from this, I earn from that. Track everything. Even if you know that there is somebody that gives you money every month apart from your salary and co, make sure it is there. Then all your expenses too, you need to track them. And for your expenses, you should divide them into maybe your day to day, like your transportation, feeding, repairs around the house, power, fueling. You should divide everything into different categories. Now you will choose a type of budgeting that you decide to use. You can decide to say that, okay, I'm doing a pay myself first type of budgeting, which that is what I like. That is your savings comes first. Then after that, you can now decide that after my savings, I'm going to put so amount into my needs, another amount into my wants. Another one you can do, they call it 50/30/20 rule, which means that 50 should go to your general needs, 30 should go to your want, and 20% should go to your savings. Key thing is that please, when you are budgeting, no matter the phase you are in life, always remember that savings is key. Don't delay savings. That okay, I'm going to save tomorrow. No, it's very key. So you divide your funds into three: 50% into your needs, 30 into your wants, and 20 for your savings. You can do zero budgeting, which I don't really like. The way you do that is okay, every money that comes in, I'm just going to divide it. No certain percentage. Whatever comes, it comes. It's okay. It depends on the kind of person you are, but make sure that you have a method you want to use and you stick to it. Another thing you have to do is to make sure that you have an emergency fund account, because sometimes after doing all this budgeting, something can rubbish it, something you are not expecting, and so that you will not become a debtor, going here and there trying to borrow. You have to make sure you have a um, emergency account. We'll be talking about emergency account. This will help you. So if you need to know more about budgeting, contact us. You can reach us on our social media pages. Our numbers are there. Reach out to us. We help you with your personal budgeting, your business budgeting, or whatever financial question you have. We'll be willing to help you. Thank you.
I would like to add that the purpose of telling your money where you want it to go is actually letting your budget help you in the achievement of your goals. You know, Tammy mentioned that you keep money aside for your projects. Your budget is a reflection of where you are going to in life. So no matter what you are saving for, no matter what you are spending on, please note that what you want from life is what determines what will be in your budget. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Women Winning with Money, where we spoke about budgets. We look forward to meeting with you next time. Take care. Bye.